Hello and welcome to Cherry Hills. We are back for another episode and welcome to the farm. So we have been busy off camera. We've been doing a few things around the farm, getting some stuff prepared. What have we been doing? So let's just check a few things. So strangely enough, this one I have to sort of say, I was looking at our finances and we spent quite a bit of money yesterday on various things, and we were down to just over just under £6 million pounds, and then overnight the server's running and of course it ticks over, and wow, I was like shocked to see a staggering 700,000 milk sale. That is like, whoa. I just sat there and went, wow, okay. So we're literally back up to nearly £7 million. The farm's ticking along. We haven't set up the apple orchard yet, and that is waiting for some deliveries of food and stuff for the plants. We have been sort of setting up the brewery's up and running, and it's ticking along nicely. But the area has been seeing a bit of growth in industry, and we've been sort of looking at popping down some beehives and producing various beehives over at our lumberyard here on the western edge of the map. And lo and behold, over what we've done is actually had some permanent installations of beehives being sort of set up for production of honey. So we've actually set several up on the map. They're actually scattered all over the map, in fact. These are permanent installations, and essentially what we need to do is take from our carpentry the beehives that are produced and pop them in. So here we are on the farm, and if you remember on the previous episode, I think we brought some beehives back to the farm, and these are 2 beehives that have been placed into the farm area. There's also a couple being placed over by the lumberyard, and then there's another 5 sort of dotted all over the map, and those are literally I know where they are, but basically I'm not going to show you where they are because they're literally anywhere in the map. I've literally placed 5 all over, and they're sort of dotted in weird places that probably wouldn't even notice. So if you do come on here as multiplayer, then you will have seen that basically the beehives are there kind of for people to sort of find and stack up. The other thing I noticed as well whilst I was testing out this, that basically the beehives actually disintegrate, so you do actually have to refill them. So I'm going to start this off. As you can see, we're using the slow bee mod, and that's basically been integrated into the map now. So hold on, I'm trying to get that. Actually, it's picked it up. Good. So that's the first of the beehives we popped in now. I'm going to pop 1 in each of these for the moment, just to show them, get them up and running. I've had some fun with essentially farming sim physics and beehives. I was testing one out earlier, and essentially the beehive hit the door frame and landed half a field away. I could not believe it. I wish I was videoing, because that would have been impressive to see, because I literally just saw it flying through the air. So this is up and running. It'll take a little bit of time for it to sort of register that the beehives are in there. But in theory, what we should do is we should get a little bit of a bee sort of feature coming through. Actually, I'm just going to pop up the speed just so we can see the movement if these kick in. These should have all the animations and everything else of the beehive. In fact, maybe it doesn't. That is weird. It should have worked. So we're starting to get some honey in, and everything else. That's weird. It should actually have the animations, but anyway, maybe it's just a slight bug. So we've got these on the map, and effectively we will be producing more more bee hives to basically go on there. and we have those on the in this production yard here. So if we actually go over here quickly, we shall see that we have a whole line of them over there. And effectively, you know, this guy here has been producing them, and we actually, no, it's not finished yet. It's nearly finished. We've actually got a whole bunch in there. You can see we've got 3. We'll pop all of those into the ones near the farm. So we'll basically, when this is done, we'll take those over and drop it in. What I'm going to quickly do is I want to just get into this truck a second. Turn on that. I did actually have that, and we want to just pick up this A. There is an actual pallet on here, and drive control always gets me. I'm just going to. I know I really should pick this up by hand, but it's good. I don't want to upset the build, that's the thing. Because if you push it too much, you'll knock one on the back, and that one won't actually function. Won't actually get filled up, unfortunately. We're filling up this truck to basically, we've actually filled up quite a lot of the carpentry shop for the beehives with wood, so he's good. So this is well underway. So all our sort of production here is well underway. If we take a little trip up to our sugar factory, we actually have some sugar to actually unload. Now, we actually did this earlier as well. We actually had one that we emptied off earlier on in the day off camera, and it took me literally ages. I'm kind of embarrassed how long it's taking me to sort of figure out this thing, because basically I'm trying to try it, and essentially it should be easy, and I swear I'll get used to it. When basically I kind of figure out the forklift. It's kind of weird. This forklift truck has slightly, it's almost like the controls are backwards, but it's perfect. So I just kind of gotta kind of figure out the right ways to have it. So the great thing about this is literally we have these next to each other, so I can literally just load up the dairy, and there it's gone. It's loaded into the dairy. Awesome. So we're basically going to just keep on doing that until the dairy is kind of full. Just want to check here. Okay, the waste is at 1%. Looked suspiciously like it was full. So this is basically just going to keep pumping out stuff until we actually have this ready to go. At some point we'll actually be able to go off and sell all of the produce from there. Our apple tree orchard is up here. This hasn't actually been touched. We did mention there's been an expansion to the cherry tree orchard, and what we'll do is we'll find that here. Oops, there we go. So as you sort of mentioned, the cherry tree orchard actually has, oh no, this is the apple tree. So this is the apples, sorry. Basically it's actually taken us to more than one. There's actually more than one in here. Should have given them different names. Probably next map update will actually change some names. Here we go. So here we have, and these are our big pallets. So these are the ones we intend to sell at the supermarket. So once we've got 2 or 3 of these guys all lined up, we'll take them up to the thing. And this is our orchard. So those are all running. Our dairy is running nicely as well. If we pop up here, you can see it's chugging along nicely, producing milk. I'm wondering if this is the reason for our milk boost, is that these was selling particularly well. I think they're covered under harvest though. Our brewery is chugging along as well. We've got a lot of beer all lined up. We're producing quite a lot of beer. I'm going to be letting this run until it's essentially empty of wheat and barley before I fill it up again. But in essence, we do have quite a lot of beer coming out, and that might be worth a trip up here with the truck to pick some up and sell at the market. So I'm just kind of checking. We did have some cultivation and ploughing going on, so all of these fields have been, should have been done. I could have sworn this has been done. Let me just check. Oh no, where is the plough? Ah, he's there. Okay, so we do actually have a tractor that has been naughty, and essentially the helper's basically just given up on the work halfway through the job. It's absolutely disgusting. You just can't get the help sometimes these days. Now, although this tractor is perfect for this kind of work, and it is the ideal tractor, the control issues of this tractor with this kind of implement are staggering. It gets so locked up sometimes because the turning is too much almost. So this is gonna finish this field. So what we plan to plant, field 1 is going to get some sugar beet, I think, or potatoes. I'm not sure which one yet, but it's going to get a root crop. This guy actually has, I think, well, we have an issue here. I just need to check this out. So we've been having issues with cultivation on some of the fields where it's not been essentially cultivating, even though it's actually going over the spot. And one of the things I need to do is we got a cultivator. Keep pressing the exit key for some reason. Okay, it is working. It's just being a little bit, not sure if it's because of the helper. That's the helper causing the problem, or it is literally it's a helper that's at fault here, or if it's just the field. Maybe it was well, it was actually going in the opposite direction. So it's a problematic section of the field. I'm going to try the helper now and see if it actually keeps going. Yep, the helper's going. So we've basically this guy's got to finish this field. Once this field's been done, we'll be planting well, I was thinking actually we haven't done there's a few crops we haven't done yet. So we haven't done sunflowers at all, and we haven't done corn. So those two are possibilities. They do require a different header though. We do have one of those headers in stock. However, if we're going to use 2 tractors on this field, we'll need to buy another. The other option is we go for one of the other fruits up at this end. So maybe rye or barley, or I think tricolate, or sorghum. So one of these could be an option, which basically means we can use a standard header. We don't need to worry about additional headers for those. So that's kind of the options for this field. I haven't quite decided. Definitely not going to put beets or potatoes on, and I don't think we need to put another wheat or barley crop down. Canola, we've got quite a bit of it, and we're not currently really using it, other than for pig foods. Soybeans, we've got over 1 million there. We do not need to do any more for a while. I will be putting down the soya milk production plant at some point, and I might do that on a live stream, so we can then start using those. But I do want to actually take a look at that, because I really don't like the model on the soybean production plant. I don't think it's in keeping with the area. I think it would look out of place. So I kind of maybe it looks too Eastern European, post-industrial kind of look. It's not really Middle America, which this sort of area is. So these two fields we're going to get a crop on them. One of them is going to have maybe we'll put something like sunflowers or corn on 10. And then we'll basically put something like rye or oats or something like that on 3. We have a grass field that's ready to put to harvest. We will be doing that at some point as well. So we'll just finish. Say we have to finish this field off. This field essentially needs the last bit of cultivation. So what we're going to do. And this guy also needs to be finished cultivation. We don't have. Do we have a seeder? Andy, so we do need a seeder. So let's take a look at our seeders and get one to do the potato stroke beets, whichever one we decide. So this is going to be that one of those. So. If we do potatoes, we will need to buy a potato harvester. We do have a beets harvester in stock, as it were, already. And we do use beets for a production line. But we do have quite a lot left. So what I'm thinking is potatoes would be a good option. One of the things that I am considering is for the farm, as a kind of addition to the farm, is the addition of a potato washer. Now the potato washer basically will take your raw potato crop, process it, and produce pallets of washed potatoes that you then would sell on at the supermarket, essentially. So these would basically be an end user product. So effectively, you don't have you don't sort of dump them like you would in their normal sell point. So that's potentially an option for us if once we get this potato crop down. So obviously, I'm not going to start doing this field just yet. The plan will be with this field, however, is 2 headlands on the bottom here. Pretty much our standard approach now for this field. 2 headlands and then verticals to basically achieve the desired seeding result. And once we're done, we're done. And essentially that should start. Basically the entire field is cultivated. What I decided actually with this field, and it was done off camera, is the issues we were having with this bottom piece, where it was missing pieces, skipping sections. It doesn't skip when we use the drag plow. cultivator, sorry. It only skips when we're using the homer. So what I did before I started to cultivate is I used the manure spreader and spread manure on this field, and basically used I used quite a bit of manure from our cows actually, and then basically just dropped that down, and essentially we've kind of folded that in with the chopped straw to the field to give us 2 levels of fertilization. This seeder will add the 3rd, and then we'll get maximum yield on this field as it was recently ploughed. Let's check this guy out, make sure he's okay. He's actually turned around and gone the wrong way. For some reason he decided he was going to do that way. This is the other thing, I've been having issues again as well with helpers that have basically been getting lost on fields. Quite frankly, they've been going the wrong way. Essentially they'll go like this one did, and then turn into a lane that's already been processed. So that's just absolutely terrible work by the helper, and they had to be fired. So essentially we've had to fire a lot of helpers as a result of this. So that's going to do. We've got quite a bit of this field, but I'm trying to maximize as much of this field as possible. As you can see, in the past we've actually had chopped straw line right up to that edge there. So I'm trying to kind of maximize that we're getting on this field. We also have this section here that just will not seem to do, and we'll try and fix that when we actually finish with this. This guy's going the opposite way. As you can see, he has basically messed it up. He is ploughing a section of the field that's already been, so he's cultivating a section of the field that's already been cultivated. That is so annoying, and it wastes time, and this is one of the reasons why some of these fields have taken so long for helpers to actually achieve anything. So I'm just going to turn this guy. Also, they don't seem to be honouring the headlands as much as well, which is really annoying. So I can put a headland down, and it's kind of the whole point of the headland is so that they stop and don't re-plough the section you've put the headland down on. It's almost as if there's a certain way this guy wants to work in the field, and it's always going to the south, as it were. So he's underway. Hopefully this guy will actually do right and go the other way. And let's get out of the way of this guy, because that's just going to cause problems. So we're struggling to get all the fields ready so we can sow, partly because the help that we've got on the farm has not been particularly useful. Something we've been thinking about, and given the status of the money, given we've got a huge boost with our milk this time out, I'm actually thinking of acquiring a field. I'm now thinking about acquiring field 5. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that field, because it is quite a big field. I think if we go and visit it and have a look, let's see. This field is 43 hectares in size. It's a big field. It will cost us 3.5 million to buy, which is not a problem. We do have the money for that. Apparently it's been ploughed already, but we're going to have to re-plough and thing, because it's showing as needing plough should we acquire it. It is close to the town, to the village of Cherry Hills. So I would want to put something on it that potentially we could offload up here in some way. so we don't have to transport it back to this farm. It is a long way. We are not springing up the second farm site as yet. I think there's just not enough really to sort of warrant basically running that site just yet. So when we do this, well, it's either going to be something that we can directly drop into one of the facilities and sales points up here at volume, or we're going to have to sort of, it's going to go into a production line or something that's basically just going to eat it all up. And we don't have anything like that currently, but we should try and look at something that might do that. One of the other things I'm trying to see if I can kind of locate something that will basically achieve the goal is I would like a bakery to move into the area, so we can supply something like flour or essentially raw material, and the bakery takes it over. This bakery is just literally a drop-off sale point. I think we should basically have a more integrated solution, and another bakery pop up somewhere around here. Obviously the brewery slot is taken, but and where the dairy is, there is this element. The other thing that I noticed whilst I was kind of driving around earlier, and basically there is a really interesting plot of land just here. It's currently grass and it looks relatively flat. So this obviously goes off into that lot there where we've got the dairy. However, we have here an interesting little plot. It's actually flat. There's nothing growing on it. There's no grass. It's almost as if this is perfect for something. And I'd like to get a business in here, maybe orchard or something else, that we could potentially make use of the output. Obviously we know there's space in the lot with the dairy as well, so we could potentially have something move in there, and then potentially we could drop something here as well, have something put in that we can use. I'm actually thinking of putting the soy milk plant here. That's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. That's my thought. As an extension to this site is basically have the soy milk production. If we used the placeable that we can purchase wherever it is, that will easily fit. But my thoughts on this, it's not a particularly pretty building, and it's as you can see from the screenshot, it's very much an industrial look, that's kind of scruffy, I think is the term I would use. The placement of this does have to be kind of precise, because we want to have obviously we've got to be able to get through to the back for the drop off for the milk, and here we need access to front, sides and back and all that kind of stuff. So this is a somewhat complicated little setup that we have, where we're going to need to have quite a pretty building, but something that's just going to have to do the job. We currently don't have a sales point for the honey, so we will have that, and also the honey milk production is something potentially we'll also put in place, and that will probably go on the farm or near the farm. Okay, so we've kind of not really covered much in this episode. We're at this stage where we're kind of waiting for stuff to finish in order for us to actually finish all the things that need to be to start some actual things that need to be done. I just want to trim this edge up. So it's kind of unfortunate. We're in this kind of thing. There's some things I wanted to kind of cover off. The new B element is in. We've got that sorted, so we can be moving forward with the beehives and getting those into place. And that's going to basically certainly going to have things rolling along quite nicely once those are in. Well, you know, we've got the 2 hives that we just popped into the farm to just get it started. We will have the remainder moved over from the main carpentry for those later on, and we'll basically continue to sort of have those. As we find them across the map as well, I mean, we can just drop in hives to actually get them up and running. There'll be kind of a very slow passive income for the farm, as we basically just, you know, find them, stock them with the beehives, and when they run out, we will kind of replace, you know, essentially replace the worn out hives, as it were, with new ones. And it gives us something to do. I think basically now this is actually done. This is going to be the last bit. This is probably more than enough for this field. It's just kind of been a little bit anal about making sure I've done as much of the field, but this hasn't been. This might not even been ploughed for a while, so. We will see. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the helper and just get rid of that. Let's fold everything up and let's get this returned to the farm. I am going to cut across the field. I'm really sorry, but it is the quickest way, and it's literally going to get seeded anyway. So essentially, we will need to bring a seeder over and start that process. These fields are vast. It still got me how when we were doing our last harvest, it was foggy, and quite frankly, we were in field 10, and we were probably sort of this position, as it were, roughly in the field, on field 10, the kind of distance from the edges. And we couldn't see the edges. You couldn't actually tell where in the field we were, and I didn't have the map up, and it was like, where am I? Because literally the visibility was probably maybe 10 meters, if that, in the game. It was actually quite a difficult trip back to the farm with our produce. So this is finished with, so we'll pop this in the shed, and there we go, and let's grab ourselves a seeder and we can make a start. So I think first off, I'm going to find a seeder. I don't want this one, it's too small. I want to use one of the larger cedars, which is one of the blue ones. And that is basically a case of one I know is down, that we just moved to field 1. And so that's on field 1. Ah, yes, so this one was up near the entrance to field 10, so let's take this and turn it around. So we are fully loaded up. We have got seed and fertilizer. Let's think, what do we want seed wise? We are going to go This is a toss-up between sunflowers and corn. I think we are going to go with corn. Because the other thing we can do with this, although actually I don't necessarily need to do it, because we do have a lot. We've got tons of silage, we've got more silage than we can basically shake a stick at. We literally have 2 million litres of silage up at the large BTA, and haven't even moved it into the composter yet because the composter is basically full, and we can't really put anything, we can't do anything with what we've got. We will do some stuff with the BTA actually on the live stream, I think. So I'm gonna just move this out a little bit and back him up. So we'll do corn, but we could essentially dual use this. We could take the corn and maize that's produced, or we can turn it into chaff, or we could essentially do half the field for corn and half the field for maize. Essentially we can sorry, for chaff. So we're going to basically start this off. Let's get this underway. The helper's going to do most of the work for us. Our seeder's done. The field is being prepped. This seeder is not a direct drill, which is kind of means that we do actually need to make sure the entire field is available and has been properly cultivated, which is one of the reasons why I was trying to get this edge perfect, as it were, because I do want this to actually work quite well. This entire field's been done except for that little section there, which actually I'm not that fussed about, because it's on that corner that we cut off anyway and we sort of deal with last, so it's not a huge deal. This tractor is going the wrong way again, and again I am actually annoyed at this. This field should have been done already. I've literally restarted this 5 times. The helpers on this field are asinine, but basically, and if I bet basically if we start here, the thing's going to get to the end of the field, right, and he's not going to carry on because he thinks the field's ended, or he's going to try to go on the grass. That's what's going to happen. He's going to basically turn left at the bottom instead of turn right, which he's basically been doing every time he's done this so far. He's literally turned right every time. Even though we went up, he turned right. So let's see if he'll turn right here and basically do the right thing, as it were. But it's certainly very annoying. He seems to be stuck in that I can't turn left. It really does. It seems like he can't turn left for some reason. Don't know why. It just can only turn right. So we're going to watch this guy, and with that, I'm going to we're going to close out the stream. Sorry, the video, and if you so thank you for watching anyway. The comedy moment comes as he turns left. I'm just kind of, I don't want to finish until literally I know whether or not it's going to make me swear. Yes. Yeah, he turned right. Okay. Perfect. He's actually doing it the way I want him to do it. So with that, thank you for watching. We had the suspense moment at the end there. We sort of left you in suspense. So next time you're coming, you'll see us. I'll probably be swearing still about this. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of our exploits on Cherry Hills and some more of the stuff that we are doing to enhance the map. And with that, thank you and goodbye.